Thank you for joining us today. During this video, we will be sharing information about the two-site regional format and highlighting the team experience at the 2023 championship in this new format. Let's dive right in. So what is new about the regional format? The regionals will take place in Greenville, South Carolina, and Seattle, Washington, with each site hosting 8 teams. Each site will host 4 consecutive game days starting on Friday, March 24th through Monday, March 27th. What has remained the same as the previous format? The game days will still be played on Friday through Monday of the regional weekend. Teams assigned to each site will play either in a Friday regional semifinal and advance to a Sunday regional final, or will play in a Saturday regional semifinal and advance to a Monday regional final. Teams will still have a day of rest between the regional semifinals and the regional finals. 4 regional pods will still exist on the bracket, with the number 1 True Seeds pod paired with the number 4 True Seeds pod on the left side of the bracket, while the number 2 True Seeds pod and the number 3 True Seeds pod will be paired on the right side of the bracket. Additionally, the bracketing principles for how teams are assigned remains the same. By order of the S-curve, the committee will assign each team to a regional and first and second round site by taking into account distance from site, mode of transportation, and accessibility by fans. Let's take a look. As you can see here in yellow highlight, the number 1 seed line has been added to the bracket, with the number 1 true seed always placed in the top left pod. The number 2 true seed is placed in the top right pod. The number 3 true seed is placed in the bottom right pod and paired on the same side of the bracket with the number 2 true seed. And finally, the number 4 true seed is placed in the bottom left pod and paired on the same side of the bracket with the number 1 true seed. This gives you the 4 regional pods. Now, let's look at the regional site assignments. In this simulation, Team A is closest proximity to the Greenville Regional and therefore would be sent here. This pod will be referred to as Greenville 1. Greenville identifies the city in which their pod will be sent, and the 1 identifies the number 1 true seed is in this pod. As the number 2 true seed, Team B will be placed into the bracket next. Team B is closest proximity to the Greenville Regional as well, and therefore would be sent here. This pod will be referred to as Greenville 2, identifying the site and the seed. As the number 3 true seed, Team C will be placed into the bracket next. Though their school is closer proximity to Greenville, 2 regional pods have already been assigned to Greenville, and therefore the Team C pod will be sent to Seattle. This pod will be referred to as Seattle 3, identifying the site and the seed. As the number 4 true seed, Team D will be placed into the bracket next. As the last pod to be assigned, Team D will be sent to the regional in Seattle. This pod will be referred to as Seattle 4, identifying the site and the seed. This process of placing remaining teams into the bracket will continue by following the same bracketing principles, using S-curve, geography, and attempting to keep conference teams from meeting until the regional final round. Now let's talk about the on-site logistics. By having 8 teams on site, there will be operational changes to the championship schedule that teams should be aware of. This table identifies experiences that are the same as the previous championship format and what may be different. All teams will continue to have access to the game court for a scheduled practice and shoot-around, though the length of time has been reduced. The first practice day at the regional will continue to have time open for media at the start of each practice, but the time has been reduced to the first 10 minutes due to the shortened practice window for teams. Teams should also note that locker rooms will be shared with teams from the other regional pod. Please take all items with you when you depart the facility and exercise patience as the facility and hosts work to clean and turn over locker rooms, sometimes multiple times a day. Other notable differences are outlined here. The court will open to teams 60 minutes prior to game time for both regional semifinals and regional final. Teams who advance Friday will have media obligations the next morning, such as ESPN interview, NCAA radio interviews, a press conference, and open locker room time. The court will not be available during this same window for practice due to game day shoot-arounds of the other regional pod. Teams may book alternate practice sites for Saturday or return to the venue in the evening for 60 minutes of practice time once the venue has cleared from the other regional pod's semifinal games. Advancing teams need to notify the host staff if they will return for the Saturday evening practice windows. If you found this information helpful, you may also enjoy one of the other educational videos available on our Sport Landing page. Go to www.ncaa.org. Use the site search function to find Division I Women's Basketball Championship. Select the top link in the search that will take you to the championship Sport Landing page. We hope you have found this information helpful as you prepare for the 2023 championship. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at diwbkb@ncaa.org.